The relationship advice on this app is incredibly dangerous.
This is why women actually hate gentlemen.
Life just gets infinitely better when you stop listening to all of these freaking dating coaches on the internet.
I want to feel the thrill. I want to be getting my head bashed in the mattress.
Personally, I'm not taking dating advice from a generation of chronically lonely people.
His ex is not crazy. He drove her crazy. Part 3?
Okay, so today we're going to be doing a deep dive into why millennials and Gen Z are so fed up with online dating advice.
His phone wasn't on Do Not Disturb. He blocked you because he was with somebody else. And on top of that, his location didn't glitch. He turned it off.
Now, there was a time where getting your heart broken meant putting on an R&B ballad, some Anita Baker, Mary J. Blige, R. Kelly.
Whoa, hey.
And venting to your friends and eventually moving on. But now, instead of processing those feelings privately, a lot of people are just taking to social media and turning their dating trauma into advice, usually framed around why the opposite gender can't be trusted. These clips rack up millions of views, and they're often rooted in bitterness, cynicism, and really rigid ideas about how men and women are supposed to behave. Today I'm going to be breaking down these TikTok videos and talking about why millennials and Gen Z have pure dating fatigue. As usual, be sure to like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get into the first clip.
Personally, I'm not taking dating advice from a generation of chronically lonely people who all learn therapy talk just so they can get on the internet and commiserate with other people who have miserable dating lives. I'm not doing that. Every other week, they're getting on here and invalidating other people's experiences because they have bad dating habits. Notice how they always get on here and tell you what dating isn't. They can never tell you what it actually is. If it ain't a red pill popping dude on the internet that's always, oh, these women and these bitches and that, it's gonna be a woman who's just like, men are just terrible. Oh my God, maybe both of y'all are just insufferable. And another thing, the people who sit back and ingest this shit, y'all don't do some inner work and be like, why the fuck am I always watching these miserable ass people talk about their terrible dating experiences? And people do so much talking about dating. They don't, I find it hard to believe that these people are actually going out on dates.
Okay, so jumping straight into the comments with this one. First commenter says, a bunch of people that hate dating, listening to other people that hate dating and have never gotten anything out of it. People think it's weird that I legitimately enjoy dating because they only ever listen to and take advice from people that hate it and structure rules to avoid negative experiences rather than foster good ones. Another commenter adds, too many people date in theory and not in reality. I couldn't agree more. Personal trauma gets turned into universal truth when a lot of these people are online talking their BS. One bad relationship becomes a sweeping conclusion. My ex cheated turns into men can't be loyal. She ghosted me turns into women only want attention. Pain gets reframed as insight instead of something to process.
Men are getting more evil, okay? I had an evil situationship over the summer that made me down bad for a couple weeks, and I thought he was the devil.
One of the weirdest and most humbling experiences as a man is realizing that women actually don't give a fuck about you at all.
This is why women actually hate gentlemen. Gentlemen go against nature. You go against nature and God treating women really well, being really considerate, being really nice. It makes them feel internally disgusted because the most comfortable they'll ever feel on an internal level is inferior.
He's not texting you back because he doesn't feel like it. He's not busy. Everyone has their phone in their hand. If he's not texting you back, he literally saw it and is ignoring you, point blank. If you can't keep anything at his place, there's more women.
Okay, so I went down a major rabbit hole when filming this video. And let's just say I've gathered enough content to make a part 2 where we do a little bit more of a deep dive into some of the toxic communities that are giving these young people this advice. And this is going to be one of the creators that we're going to be seeing a lot more of in the next video. So more to come soon.
In your 20s, like who the fuck wants to get married and settle down? I want to feel the thrill. I want to be getting my head bashed in the mattress. And then I want to be getting ghosted the next day. I want to have my heart ripped out of my chest. And I want to do it all over again.
I want to get my heart broken and I want to do it all over again. No! This is the worst advice women are giving in 2025. Glamorizing getting ghosted and your heart ripped out like pain is a lifestyle and dysfunction is sexy. And to think some of you are actually listening to this, thinking it's empowering to be used, thrown out, and broken over and over again. This is exactly why modern dating is hell. Broken women create broken men, and broken men destroy families. By the time you grow out of this phase, the good men, they're already gone. Building a relationship with someone who chose peace, love, and loyalty early, I chose that life. I chose discipline over chaos, and now I have peace. Real peace, not a fake validation from a one-night stand. You weren't made for trauma, you were made for love. But you'll never find that if pain is your preference. So wake up. You're not being empowered, you're just being emptied.
I'm just going to say this, but some of you young girls are being totally manipulated and sabotaged by girls giving you advice on the internet. I'm 44 and I haven't had like a successful relationship, obviously, because I'm single. So I'm not going to pretend to be a dating coach, but also like the women that give you advice that are habitually single and hate men and aren't in healthy relationships and telling you what you should be doing. I wouldn't listen to them. I'm sorry. I'm still very hopeful and positive about love. Even though I've made some bad choices, I don't hate men. And I think that there is always hope. If you're looking for love or want love, you should always have a positive outlook about it, because the right person deserves the best version of you, not the bitter, dried up, used version of you that hates men. And I don't like to talk about dating content because a lot of women and men, and I'm not the women on here. Most of my women are awesome. I'm talking about unsolicited opinion that are being very bitter and like, you don't need a man. That's why I don't like, they're giving you bad advice.
A lot of the time, this kind of advice is less about helping someone heal and more about creating a shared sense of identity and community. And while that community can feel comforting, the cost often comes with villainizing an entire group of men who had nothing to do with the pain you're suffering in the first place. And that's really the issue here. Advice that keeps groups together doesn't always help an individual move forward.
The relationship advice on this app is incredibly dangerous. And I don't think people realize how slippery the slope actually is. If you are not careful, you will end up hating women, or you will end up hating men. I'm going to give you some advice that I actually gave a friend of mine because he started going down the misogynistic pipeline. But I feel like everyone can benefit from knowing this information. The only dating videos that you should really be watching and internalizing are education on grooming yourself, dressing yourself, date etiquette, conversation etiquette, and inspirational videos. And that can also be inspiration on when to leave a situation, but you need to use your discernment. Once you get to the videos where they start complaining about men or they start complaining about women, that is where you should stop. That is where the advice can start to pull you in a bad direction, and where the advice also becomes very silly. It'll be like, ladies, if your boyfriend is making less than 6 figures a year, you have a girlfriend, not a boyfriend. But you might actually be in a relationship with someone that makes you really happy, and you make him really happy. And he makes like 60 or 70 a year. But you're happy. And now you're thinking about breaking up with him because some person on the internet told you that you shouldn't be happy with what you're happy with, even though you treat each other well. And for men, the advice will be like, fellas, don't be no simp. Don't give her too much attention. Don't be too nice to her. Don't buy her things. If she feel like you too nice, she not gonna respect you. And I watch that and I think to myself, that's the type of stuff that makes you hate women, because it makes women seem vapid.
Okay, this might be the dumbest thing I've read online all day, and it's a very good example of why you need to stop getting your dating advice from one-liners that sound like they belong on bumper stickers. So this first poster says, before you text him first, remember there's another girl who didn't have to. Because yeah, it's totally healthy to get jealous over another woman that you made up inside your own brain. And this girl quote tweets and says, if a man really loves you, the only thing he'll need from you is to exist. I heard this and my standards went higher. I'm sorry, in what freaking world? And why are you trying to get pickier? There is not a single relationship in your entire life for which just existing is sufficient, period. Your parents still want to see you at holidays. Your friends still expect your support and your participation in conversation. Even the random person on the street expects you to wave back or say hello or good morning back. And by the way, that is normal. For basically all of human history, we've understood the fact that existing in society and having a civilization requires our participation. But the thing is, these sorts of quotes and one-liners aren't really meant to raise your standards or actually help you with dating. They're just ego boosts for narcissistic people. They're for people who think that they can validate their own self-worth by being pickier about the men that they date, but it's a losing strategy, so they just keep getting pickier and pickier and pickier. And obviously these one-liners don't stand up to critical thinking, but they don't need to because that's not what they're made for. If you're online and consuming any kind of dating advice, make sure that that's actually what it is at first. Otherwise, there's a good chance that it's just stuff like this that's trying to just go to your head.
Now, a lot of the frustration we're seeing here isn't just aimed at the people giving bad advice, it's also directed at so-called experts who claim to have all the answers but rely on oversimplified rules that don't reflect how dating works in real life. These next few videos are going to take aim at some of those dating coaches' expertise.
Life just gets infinitely better when you stop listening to all of these freaking dating coaches on the internet. And not all of them are built the same, but like 95% of them are toxic. And we are continuously trying to apply a blanket statement, blanket advice based on their trauma, based on the things that they've gone through, and apply it to our own situation because it makes us feel heard. Yes, if you are a naturally cool, calm, collected, detached person, show up that way in dating because that's who you are. But if you're not, if you're an anxiously attached person, learn how to ask for your needs to be met. The right person is not going to deny that. A person that loves you and cares about you actually wants you to be happy, and you won't have to manipulate them into doing that. You won't have to sit all night long watching all of these dating coaches and all of this bogus advice that tell you how to manipulate somebody into having feelings for you, because I'm going to tell you right now, it will never, ever last. Show up as your authentic self from your heart. Be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to ask for the things that you need. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, go to therapy. And stop listening to dating coaches that tell you how to be and who to be in a relationship, because it will never last.
If I can give everyone one piece of advice right now, it would be to stop listening to dating advice on TikTok. You realistically cannot group every single guy and every single girl under one umbrella and say that if this person doesn't do this, they don't like you. If they don't reach out by this day, they don't like you. You can't generalize people like that. Dating also isn't simple like that. Every single person that you come across in your dating life and every single person in the world has their own set of trauma, learned behaviors, and personal reasons behind why they act the way that they do. So generalizing and making statements like every guy will do this if he likes you, or if she doesn't say this or do this, she doesn't like you, that doesn't apply to everyone. And this is something I'm learning, and this is why I don't make dating videos anymore or like talk about this stuff, because it's harmful to like generalize people, and then you have everyone out there thinking that if this guy doesn't do this certain thing, then he doesn't like me. Like, it's just not accurate.
If your boyfriend is taking you to chain restaurants, then oh my god, he does not love you. If he's fucking taking you to Olive Garden, get out of there. I will not tolerate a man that plays video games. Have you seen video games? Have you seen the female characters? If your boyfriend is your soulmate, he should know exactly what you want, what you're thinking, what you're going to think. If he doesn't, if you ever buy your boyfriend anything, that's fucked up. He shouldn't be letting you do that. Has your boyfriend asked you to be his pumpkin yet? It's almost Halloween. Like, are you his pumpkin? Has he made you a boo basket? Dude, like, if you weren't your boyfriend's first girlfriend, that's crazy. If you haven't gotten flowers in the past 2 weeks, he does not love your ass.
Now that was obviously satire, but let's get into some of the comments of this video. I feel sorry for those whose girlfriends and boyfriends get easily influenced by this app. No one talks about how it's literally the equivalent of red pill alpha male content for women. They acted like I was insane for saying I paid for dates sometimes. We're both adults with full-time jobs and income, so why wouldn't I? I couldn't agree more. This information really is coming from bitter and alone people who have an overly romanticized view of what a relationship actually is. I mean, we're all human beings at the end of the day, and another human cannot read what's on your mind. No matter how much you try, no matter how much you want them to, this person is really just a person at the end of the day, and we're gonna have to accept these people for that. A good rule of thumb for anyone going through any kind of heartbreak right now is if the dating advice sounds crazy, it's because it is. And more than likely, it's coming from a crazy person.
How do you ask men for money without feeling bad? Like this. If you're on a date and they're looking at another woman, look at cars. Because a man can be cute and broke, and he knows you ain't going nowhere. But looking at cars is totally different. Oh my God, look, there's a Bentley. I wonder who's driving that. The more you do for a man, the less he wants to do for you. The more you consider a man's feelings, the less he considers yours. You treat these guys like you're in the workplace, okay? You keep it professional, and you do not mix emotions. If they're not doing what they need to be doing for you. You got a list of standards. They can't reach them. They get zero emotions out of you, period. Why are you giving emotions to a man who can't even reach your standards? It doesn't make sense now, does it? So treat your emotions like they're very valuable. You don't just give them out to anything. All right. Your sugar daddy gave me $500 just to go out for dinner. You don't want to be intimate at all. What can I do? Aunt Ethel, baby. Aunt Ethel. Okay. Tell her about Aunt Ethel. Aunt Ethel is a fake aunt that you have that you briefly mentioned a couple of times to him. You know, oh, I was on the phone with Aunt Ethel. I told her about you. She says you sound like a nice man. Okay, when he's trying to get intimate, all of a sudden Aunt Ethel is going to take a turn for the worst in her health, or she's going to die. She's a fake aunt that we bring up to get out of doing things we don't want to do.
There's one topic that I could talk about for hours, and I mean literal hours. It is the fact that TikTok and social media has completely ruined our generation's relationship expectation. The amount of stuff that I will see, and it's stuff like, well, if he wanted to, he would, and it's boyfriends sending their girlfriends like 15,000 flowers every day and taking them on these expensive vacations and buying them expensive things and going to nice dinners every single week. And then the people that are reposting this saying, I wish my boyfriend would do this, are people in high school and college who are probably dating guys who have basically no source of income. They're either full-time students or working to support themselves through college. I'm sorry, but like, you cannot expect young people who do not have like full-time jobs to be able to afford and do all of these things. And even if you are in like a full-time adult relationship, it is not normal to expect someone to buy you and do all these lavish things in a relationship and act like that is the bare minimum and what should be expected. I just think there needs to be a discussion about shifting our views on relationships back to what is actually normal and not having this like completely jaded idea of what relationships should look like.
I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but she's absolutely right. A lot of young people's dating expectations now have been skewed more towards luxurious lifestyles and fancy dinners that you do with your boyfriend or significant other every single day. When in reality, if you watch what I do on this channel, you'll see the average American is living a very average life. And taking this advice oftentimes leads to really, really bad consequences. One commenter on this video says, "This is so real. I'm in no contact with my man because I freaked out on him, not gonna lie."
Dating coaches have a vested interest in you staying single. First of all, dating coaches are not real. There's no like school you go to or certification that you get. Everyone's experience is completely different. They're not on the date to like see someone's reaction, read their body language, things that you can do. Now, if you want to find a matchmaker, someone just to set you up with someone that's compatible, that's different. Still kind of weird, not for me, but dating coaches are not real, guys. They're a scam. And let's think about this. If a dating coach has 100 customers and 75 of them are success, they get 75 of their customers in a relationship, they're broke. Then they're just living, hoping that they get enough referrals to stay afloat. Do not listen to dating coaches. Don't hire dating coaches. If you want dating advice, ask me. I'll be straight up blunt and honest with you. I'll charge you nothing. Do not hire dating coaches. Don't listen to them.
I am perfectly willing to admit my bias here. I do not like dating coaches. If you call yourself a dating coach, I'm going to assume your advice is trash. This is my problem with dating coaches. And if you know any dating coaches, if you follow them, see if this applies to their content. Dating coaches do not teach you how to be a better partner or how to be a better person. Dating coaches answer the question, how do I get this person to say yes when they normally wouldn't? This person rejected my advances. How do I get them to change their mind? This person blocked me. How do I get them to unblock me so I can keep messaging them? How do I push past their no, their apprehension, their uncomfortability? How do I get past that? It's not dating advice. It's manipulation advice. They don't talk about how to have good communication. They don't talk about how to have good listening skills. They don't talk about how to be more charming or more clever. They don't talk about any of that stuff. Any of the things that if you did them, you would actually be more likable and therefore get more dates. They don't talk about that. They're too busy teaching coercion tactics, too busy talking about negging and shit like that. How do I manipulate this person into going out with me or sleeping with me? And this isn't just men, although it is mostly men. Women who give dating advice are doing the same shit. How do I get this man to stay when he wants to leave? How do I lock down this man who does not want to be locked down? And then everyone's surprised that these relationships and marriages don't work. If you ever see me picking on dating coaches or their content, that's why that is. I don't like dating coaches.
Guys, in the words of mid-2000s neo-soul R&B artist Dwele, music in a lot of ways mimics relationships. It gets tainted when you bring rules into it. Now, I know I severely dated myself with that line, but in a lot of ways, it is absolutely correct. There are no rules to this game of attraction. A lot of the times, you're just going to be out doing your own thing, and you're going to meet somebody who you really, really like one day. Now, once you start putting these unrealistic expectations onto this person, that's when a lot of times you're going to see yourself in a lot of trouble. You're oftentimes going to end up alone when you start listening to people who are chronically alone. So in the future, go to your friends, pay a therapist, do something other than taking advice from these very horrible, toxic dating coaches online. So that brings us to the end of our time here today, guys. We covered a lot of insane and very crazy dating takes. Is there one that you like the best? Be sure to write it in the comments and be sure to like and subscribe. And until our next crash out, see you next time.